Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the next episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, episode number
72.
And that is the voice of Megan Hibbard, my co-host. My name is Joe Sangle, fired up to be a part of the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not team and helping you win with your money, knowing that money is a journey, not just one moment. And today, we're going to talk about an awesome topic.
Yes.
What is that topic?
So today, we're getting really close to Thanksgiving. So hopefully you got starting to get your turkey bought and all your food and the sides. Yes. I'm getting hungry thinking about it. But for us in the United States, Thanksgiving is happening next Thursday, if you can believe it. I cannot.
Right.
So we're going to, our
Canada's
question
already
today,
had their Thanksgiving in October.
Yeah, it's just weird to me.
It's awesome.
Yeah, good for them. So our question today says, can you speak on the topic of gratefulness?
I love it.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. The first thing I'm grateful for, I'm just going to dive into that part really early, is Thanksgiving food.
Yes.
I do believe it's my favorite food holiday of the year, as far as the food.
Mm-hmm. It's different than Christmas food.
Yeah, it is.
It's like Thanksgiving has its own food.
Absolutely, and those traditions are so great.
Yeah.
Some people fry a turkey.
Mm-hmm.
That's never happened at my family. Thanksgiving, although I have had it before, it is delicious. I love baked turkey. My mother always makes 4 types of stuffing.
4?
Which is awesome.
Wow.
Yes. There's regular type. There's like oyster dressing.
Interesting.
And then a giblet or giblet. How does that?
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically, I think, pieces of
the turkey
innards.
You pull it out before you bake it. It's kind of gross when you think about it.
And then another one, like a plain one, I guess. And it is so good. And then we usually cook a duck, which is awesome. It's part of the holiday. And of course, you have the cranberry sauce.
Do you make it, or is it out of the can?
Out of the can. It's got to be out of the can. That gelatinous globule, and slice it. Yeah, still got the can shape on it. It's great. And brown gravy. And I will tell you, hands down, I will fight people on this. The best food of Thanksgiving, leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Warmed up the next 1 or 2 days, 3 days later with that brown gravy on it. It's so good. Woo, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I'm so grateful for it.
I'm so hungry now.
Yes, I know. We're recording this podcast right after lunch, and some of us didn't get enough lunch.
I didn't.
Apparently, might be hangry. This might be the hangry and grateful edition of the podcast. Tell everybody about this great section that's coming up, the sponsor of it. We know what section that is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by the banking section of I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Next Steps page. This is where you'll find all of our favorite banks who offer the best interest rates and 0 fees. Check it out today by visiting iwbnin.com, click on Next Steps, and select Banking.
That's awesome, and you should really check that out. The banking is our favorite bank accounts, and of course, they're all FDIC insured, dollar minimum balance, no fees. And the reason they're our favorites is because of the interest rate that they pay on savings. And of course, that's been declining. We've shared that in some current money events sections. But today, for the current money event section, I wanted to talk about 2020 money. So my book is coming up for release here in maybe a little less than a month now. But you can pre-order right now. And you can pre-order at iwbnin.com/2020. And we have our absolute best offer we'll ever make on the resource there for everybody who pre-orders the book. You're going to get access to a whole bunch of extra videos, extra sections, extra downloads. Super excited about what we're able to provide there. But I want to just share a story from the book.
Yeah.
And one of the stories from the book is written about a little boy named Steve. And a little boy named Steve had a chance where he was at school, and the teacher asked him to write down and write a paper about what he wanted to be when he grew up. And most of his classmates wrote down that they wanted to play in the NBA. Someone wanted to be princesses. Others wanted to play for the Major League Baseball. All the different things that kids want to be when they aren't limited in their dreaming. And Steve wrote down that he wanted to be on TV. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be on TV. And he came home, and he had a letter written by his teacher who was kind of angry at him because he would not listen to her and write down something more realistic, as if it could be more realistic than NBA.
Seriously.
And his mother was kind of saying, why don't you just write down what the teacher wants? And Steve's dad heard what was going on. And of course, there's nothing that'll make a dad more upset than hearing his son back talking to his mama. And that's what he thought was happening.
Right.
And so when he hears what's going on, the mother said, Steve's mother said, well, he's writing down this thing. He wants to be on TV. The teacher wants him to rewrite it, write something more realistic. And his dad, Steve's dad, said at this moment, it's a powerful moment. You have no idea the power of your words as a parent and when they're actually going to infect the child. But he said, well, what's wrong with that? And I think what's awesome is in that moment, Steve's dad validated that it's okay to dream big. And it's okay to have your dream, your own dream. And so when he heard about what the teacher wanted him to write down, he said, son, go ahead and write down whatever that teacher wants you to write down. But here, this paper where you say you want to be on TV, I want you to write that down and keep that and keep it in your desk. And every morning when you go to school, I want you to look at that paper. And every morning when you get ready, or every afternoon when you leave, I want you to look at it because that's your dream. That's your paper. Write down whatever the teacher wants you to do, but that's your paper. And so he did. And so as we all know now, that young boy named Steve became Steve Harvey, who's on TV 7 days a week, Family Feud and his own show, and just absolutely went to the stratosphere with his career on TV because he was driven for his dream and his father believed in his dream. And in fact, while his teacher was still alive, Steve sent TVs to her every year for Christmas. And he said he would run into her and she's like, you give me these TVs, you give me all these TVs. I have to give these things away sometimes. I ain't got it. And he's like, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. But he was wanting to make sure she saw him on TV. And I share that story in the book because it's the power of dreaming and having a vision for your life. And that's what 2020 Money is about, is having a vision for your life, not someone else's vision for your life, or when you have this dream and somebody speaks ill of your dream or tries to put your dream down. My goal with this book is to help people dream again. As I've said before, I'll say it again. As kids, we have no problems believing. As parents and adults, we have no problems disbelieving. And I think it's a powerful lesson from Steve, and as he recounts it, of his dad affirming his dream. And that's what I want to do with 2020 Money is I know you have dreams. I know you have big dreams, and they'll cost money. And so what we try to do in the book is help you dream again. And we have 22 focused questions for you to do that. And they'll be challenging, and they'll also be awesome. And then we show how to connect those dreams to dollars so that they can actually become funded and way beyond just with your regular income. And so I encourage everybody, check it out at iwasbrokenowimnot.com/2020, or you can see it in the show notes. We're super fired up to help you achieve your dreams. And that is a current event right now. And that's it for the current money events section.
Yeah, and we actually, I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see the book cover on the screen. So it's the first time
that's right. So it's a hardcover edition of the book with a dust jacket with a nice soft feel. It's going to have some raised lettering on it as well, which is nice. And the book itself is blue with gold metallic. It's got gold metal embossing. Foil. And so we're super excited about it. And we've spent a lot of time putting this together. Megan did all the graphics work. And her name is in the book as the illustrator, the graphic designer. And so we're super excited. It's a team thing. And we know that you have a journey that you're on. We want to help make sure it's fully funded. Get fired up.
Awesome. Okay, for our success story today, I read this earlier and it's a really great success story. So here we go. Mr. Single, you spoke at our church in Virginia about 2 years ago. My wife and I watched you and bought your books and set us on a strict but manageable budget. That's key. Manageable. Yep. I just wanted to pass along that we paid off $42,700 in debt. Bought and paid off my wife's 2012 Hyundai Sonata in 14 months and went from having $250 to $500 in savings to now sitting with approximately $29,000.
Get fired up.
Seriously. Once we spoke, I really got doing some number crunching. I was in disbelief of how much we were blowing. I'm retiring from the Air Force in August this year. I'm 38 years old. Yes, I'll have to find another job. But I'm retiring with confidence instead of being a nervous wreck about how we would be able to pay the bills. I just wanted to say a big thank you. I'm not a millionaire by any means, but when you go from being $40,000 in debt to having no debt and $29,000 sitting in savings, I feel like one. Thanks again, Russell.
That's awesome. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's why we do this. And Russell got a vision. That's what happened. We were just talking about in the Current Money events about having a vision for your life, and he caught a vision. And a couple of things I'd point out, said my wife and I. So they were together. And, you know, we all view money differently, but they chose to sit together and learn about money. So they chose to make an investment. I'm sure this was a Sunday afternoon event. They could have went and watched some football. They could have taken a nap. They could have done a million other things besides, you know, come hear some lunatic yell and holler, scream about money and be fired up. But they did it anyhow.
Yeah.
And they caught a vision of what life could be. The rest is history. They got a plan that was manageable, and they prospered.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome.
Fires me up. Good job, Russell, and unnamed wife.
Unnamed wife. But equally as important wife.
Perhaps more important.
Okay, so now we're going to get to our featured section for today. So just to remind you of our question, it's Thanksgiving for the United States is happening next Thursday. Can you speak on the topic of gratefulness?
Yes, you and I are going to talk on the topic of gratefulness.
Yes.
This is going to be a collaborative event.
I love it.
You know, it is a season of gratefulness and thanksgiving, of giving thanks. And, you know, we think of the pilgrims and they're sitting down and sharing produce from the land, and they're grateful they've made it a year. And they're in this new land, this new territory that turned out to other people were living here. So it wasn't so new to some. And here's the thing. The thesis that I want to have with this moment is to talk about the fact that when you're grateful, lots of things will be different in your life. And then one of those things will be money, that you will manage money differently than someone who is ungrateful. That's my thesis.
Yeah.
And what do you think of that?
No,
that
I think
thesis?
that's great. I think, you know, I mean, if we weren't grateful, then, you know, we wouldn't have a generosity fund where we're willing to help people out here and there, or pay for someone's lunch, or pick up someone's groceries, or, you know, I had somebody in Starbucks the other day pay for my drink in the drive-thru.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's just like acts of kindness happen, you know, when we're grateful, and it's the way we manage money. And unfortunately, there's nobody behind me to pay for it. I couldn't keep it going. I'm just going to have to go to Starbucks again and pay for somebody else's drink to pay it forward. But I think we really do look at things differently when we're grateful, and we look at things as we're grateful and we want to share that with other people. And so, especially with your money, you know, you're grateful and you want to share that, and you want to help people out, and you want other people to be grateful too. So
Yeah, and I love it. Dave Ramsey says that money is a tool to resource.
yeah,
In the hands of a grateful person, it'll bless many. In the hands of a greedy person, a belligerent person, it can be quite devastating.
yeah,
And so I thought I'd compare and contrast grateful money habits versus ungrateful money habits. And so let's go for some of these. One of them is, so the first one I'll say is grateful money habit, and then the other one is the opposite of that, the ungrateful one. So a grateful one is thankful for what I have versus I need more.
we're in the I need more
Yeah.
society.
Yeah. And gratefulness causes you to say, I'm thankful for what I have.
Yeah.
And so that kind of lines up with the next one, which is grateful person says, I have enough. And the other one says, more. More. There's a difference. Another one is, I appreciate things versus I'm unappreciative. And that really is very, very interesting. It's kind of a human mentality that when we have this one thing that we really want, or really chasing it, that job. I just got my hair cut. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it's very, very cut. And she got a phone call while she was cutting my hair and took the phone call. And it's a member of this franchise team, and she's up for a promotion. And you know, she really wants this job, because after she hung up, she's like, I'm cutting a client's hair. I'll call you afterwards. Which of course the franchisee person said, absolutely cut the person's hair and then call me. And why are you talking to me now? But anyhow, she afterwards talked about how much she wanted this job, how excited she was, and she's in competition with another person, and she really hopes she gets it. Here's what's unusual, or very usual for human nature is, if let's say she gets it, 6 months from now, will she still be grateful?
Probably not.
Or will it wane?
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, that gratefulness will wane. The thing you really wanted, that person you wanted to date, that person you wanted to marry, that house you wanted,
Yeah.
it'll go
So
away.
true. Well,
So a grateful person plans every dollar thoughtfully, and an ungrateful person spends their money wildly. So does that mean every person who spends their money wildly is ungrateful? Not necessarily, but I've just noticed it's a trend.
Yeah, that's
And a
interesting.
person who's grateful recognizes it's limited. They really want to be prudent with how they use each one.
Yeah.
Here's another one. A grateful person will maximize their money. The ungrateful one will frivolously waste money. I've seen this happen. I actually, have you ever known a trust fund baby?
Oh, I'm sure I have.
I have. I've known one. And while he was he was older than a baby, you know what? His financial behavior was that of a baby, very immature. And he literally just burned through money. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was entitlement and ran through it.
There's no end in sight.
And somehow or another, somebody got a hold of the trust and shut him off.
Oh, wow.
And
There was an end in sight.
it ended his life, and he is actually grateful for it because he ended up reducing his life, quote, quality of life by factors of millions, probably, I would say.
Yeah.
And he actually says it actually gave him life.
Saved his
Pretty
life, yeah.
amazing, isn't it? Okay, gratefulness. A grateful person budgets. An ungrateful person does not budget. So these are tendencies.
Yeah.
You can argue with all of these, and that's awesome. I welcome all arguments. Remember, this is a thesis, trying to defend it somewhat, but it's not doctoral level. No, this is Joe Sangle level. So, there's that. 2.64 GPA at Purdue. A grateful person keeps things in perspective versus reacting impulsively and negative. A grateful person's positive, ungrateful is negative. Grateful person is content, ungrateful's not content. Grateful person is happy, the opposite, they're displeased. A grateful person enjoys the journey. The ungrateful person is I achieve the destination or bust. A grateful person is optimistic. Ungrateful people tend to be pessimistic. And so I think it's important to compare and contrast and think through those. We should include all these in the show notes, by the way, because I know I'm just rattling these off. But it's important because we need to understand this, that being on one side of these or the other as we compare and contrast doesn't necessarily make you grateful or ungrateful. But the more of those on the left side that you lined up with of being grateful, the more grateful you'll be. The more you line up with on the right side of those ungrateful side, the more ungrateful you'll be. And here's what I've learned. Gratefulness is jeopardized whenever you enter, dun, dun, dun. Do you like my sound effect?
That's
The
good.
comparison game. Here's the thing. Somebody's always going to have more money than you. Always. Somebody's always going to be better looking than you. Always. Someone will always have more friends than you. They just will.
Yeah.
Someone will always have better, quote, luck than you. Someone will always get a bigger buck than you do when hunting. Oh, wait.
That's just you.
I just jumped off topic here. No, but that I see it. I mean, I'm part of a deer hunters Facebook page.
Oh.
It's unbelievable how they compete with each other. It's unbelievable. And they're horrible to each other when they get a lesser deer. And I'm like, come on, for real? And it's the ungratefulness.
Yeah.
You have to practice gratefulness.
You should send in this podcast.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post it because I know that all of them are wanting to invest in their lives and improve their money journey. I'm sure of it. But here's what I know. You got to practice this.
Yeah.
Gratefulness is a practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about this. When you were starting a family and you used to be just married, you and Jordan, it seemed like a simpler life.
Yes.
And then Logan shows up. And now you have a lot more things you want in your life now.
Yeah.
Right? What do they say having a child is? It's allowing your heart to walk outside of your body for the rest of your life. And
That's true.
And you have all these new desires.
Yeah.
All these new things that you would like to have, experiences you want for Logan, toys, play area,
Yeah.
experience, all these different things that you want him to have. And if you're not careful, you'll compare your child to someone else's child. And of course, yours is the most beautiful little baby boy ever.
He is.
Of course. We know this. Because every person's child is the most beautiful child to them. It's amazing. But if you're not careful, you'll compare what you get to provide for your child versus what somebody else is able to do.
Yeah.
And you have to practice gratefulness. So here's some practical ways. List one of them for everybody.
Yep. So the first one is focus on all the good blessings you already have in your life. So children, grandchildren, family, friends, health, life, a place to live, food to eat, income, savings, a church to worship, freedom to pursue your dreams. Just to name a few.
So those are things we can just rattle off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that health,
Yeah.
amazing. And be grateful. And kids and family, and the Thanksgiving's coming up, and you'll be able to spend time with them. And I pray, all of you will be able to spend time with family. And of course, Thanksgiving also brings to mind people that have went on. But we can still be grateful. We have to practice it. And I love a statement that Dr. Seuss said when he was talking about the fact that, we lose those that we love, and grandma and grandpa won't be there. They just won't be for me at Thanksgiving. And one of the things that he said, Dr. Seuss said, he said, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Yep.
And it's such a good quote. So you have to practice this. And serve others in need is another way to practice gratefulness. And just open your eyes.
Yeah.
You will see needs around the area. And it's a great way to practice gratefulness.
Yeah.
Share another one.
All right. The next one is pray every time before you budget.
And so, this is something important. When you receive income, the Lord provided that. I truly believe that. The earth is Lord's, everything in it. The world all live in it. Psalm 24:1. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, for it is the Lord who gives you the ability to produce wealth. And so confirms his covenant, which he keeps even to this day, something to that effect. But here's what I know. When you pray and you thank God for providing again, it really chases out that I need more mentality and bless me with more. It's saying I'm going to be diligent with what you've given me, and we're going to do our best to be givers, savers, investors, plan the rest, and fund these dreams you've placed in our heart. And it makes you very grateful. Share a fourth one.
All right. The next one is making giving the second act you do when you receive income.
That's it. And so I like this because after you say that prayer of thankfulness and asking for guidance, that's your first step. The second step, I encourage you to put giving in your budget. And I heard you mention about somebody bought you Starbucks.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
I mean, awesome. She probably looked behind her and saw I would look like a hot mess because I'm a new mom and was like, oh, I'm going to bless her. But whatever it was, I was very, very grateful. I was very thankful. And it made my day, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a
What'd you
$4.
get? Tell everybody what coffee drink you got.
Well, I thought I was paying for it.
Yeah.
So when I'm paying for it without a gift card, the coffee is a lot less. It was like the last hot day. So it was like iced coffee with just cream, no sugar. So I got one for me and Jordan. So it was like $4 total.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been paying for it or gift card, something like that, I would have gotten something a little bit more frou-frou.
That's awesome.
But it was delicious. And I was very thankful and very grateful and made my day. And I called Jordan and I'm like, this lady paid for my drink. And I was so thankful and happy. And it did
awesome.
change the rest of my day.
I love it.
$4
For $4.
drink. Yeah.
For $4, y'all. And so that brings us to the sub point of this one of making giving the second act that you do. And that is put a line item in your budget called bless others, intentionally bless others. Me and my bride, Jen, we do this every single month. And sometimes we see needs within the month and the money all goes away. Other times, some of that money just stays and then accrues over time. And we're able to give an even larger blessing.
Yep.
Sometimes the blessing is spread out in $4 and $5 increments. Sometimes it's in, more than that increments. But I'm blessed to be able to do so. And it happens because we intentionally put it in the budget.
Right.
And it's because we're practicing this. Because I'm a human being, just as you're a human being, as every person listening to this podcast is 99% or more human being.
Yeah.
And as a result, we will veer towards greed and wanting stuff and not sharing very swiftly if we don't practice this.
Right.
So just as we practice, we're going to practice, a baseball game, a soccer game. We practice with budgeting. We practice with running, whatever it might be, practice gratefulness. You'll be so glad that you did. There is a great article that was provided on lifehack.org that I wanted to provide a link to. We may even spend an entire episode on it, but there was a quote from it, and it's from Judy Belmont, a psychotherapist, and she said, grateful people define their self-worth by their determination and their dreams, not their regrets and disappointments. In other words, they kind of knock the rear view mirrors off
Yeah.
and they keep looking ahead, saying, I'm going to learn from everything and move forward and practice gratefulness. It's awesome. I had a second sub-quote that I came up with,
I like it.
and that is this. I'd rather have $1 and be grateful than $1 million and ungrateful.
It's good.
And all God's people said,
Amen.
Amen. That's awesome. So tell everybody about next week's episode.
Yes, next week's episode is the last Monday of the month. I can't believe it. Say it every time, and months just go by so much faster. So our regular listeners know what that means, but for all of you others, we're going to be answering all of your top money questions. So all the questions that have been sent in to us, it's going to be a great variety of questions. It's ideally rapid fire and hopefully extremely helpful. I think it's helpful, so hopefully you guys find it helpful. So make sure you don't want to miss it. And then if you like today's episode, you could help us get this episode to others who could benefit this. And you could do this by quickly rating and leaving a review of our podcast, and it will help make us better for others. And then also, like I just talked about in the last Monday of the month, we're going to be answering your top money questions. So make sure you send those in. You can email them at info@iwbnin.com, and we could feature yours on the podcast, which would be awesome. And then if you implemented one of our tips or tricks, make sure you share your success with us. And you can do that by emailing us or calling us or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your choice.
Awesome. We're grateful to be able to be a part of your money journey. My encouragement to you as we sign out of this podcast is go practice gratefulness. What is one thing you could do, even as you go through the drive-through line, buy that coffee with that person behind you? It just might be Megan. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.